This week's episode is brought to you by our buddies over at Mutiny Info Cafe, where they not only have a great selection of used books, records, and great coffee, but they also have a fantastic selection of new and used comic books, graphic novels, manga, posters, Gundam robots, and more. Mutiny Information Cafe in Denver at the corner of Broadway and Ellsworth, and online at mutinyinfocafe.com.
What did you call it?
What's that?
I can't even say
Manga.
how you say it. You did not say manga.
That's what I said.
You were doing so good.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Not bad.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good. Everybody, this is episode 55, Comically Gaming. I'm Nate.
Corey.
And yeah, a little bit different this week. So if you're watching this video the day it comes out, I'm currently in Arles, France. And so we have pre-recorded some shows.
How is it?
That content coming hot and heavy every single week to all of you. Arles great. The weather is wonderful.
Nice.
Dipped my toe in the Mediterranean. I went to Carcassonne. Yeah, kicking it. Had to spend 3 days in Paris. Love Paris, my favorite city on earth. It was wonderful.
Nice.
Yep, totally. Next, Italy. On to Italy. A few more days from now.
Nice.
So yeah, I may share a picture or two
Jealous.
back for everybody. Yep, we're totally fortunate. Totally, the wife found an super awesome deal to get us over there. So taking the kids, never done that before, showing them the world. It's gonna be fired up. That being said, this video will be our last video before E3. So we're gonna go pretty hot and heavy in the gaming news or gaming discussion. The next week's video will be post E3, pre me returning. So we're going to talk some comic stuff next week. That said, as far as our weeks go, like I assume you probably played some Persona.
Yeah, played some more Persona.
Right? I bet you I played some Pokemon Moon on the plane.
Yeah, I watched American Gods.
What do you think of the first Fear the Walking Dead?
It was all right. It was
crazy that the black dude died, huh?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, anyways, we'll skip our normal formatting and whatnot. Again, I want to go hot and heavy on gaming this week. Boom. So, first discussion here. Gonna talk about E3 this year. Talk a little bit about kind of what we would like to see from everybody or what we need to see. I guess let's just go through the different big companies here and talk about, what we'd like their E3 experience to be like.
All right.
So let's start with our current console of choice, Sony.
Sony.
Why don't you go first? What you got?
Sony. Let's see. That new zombie game.
That new zombie game. Days Gone?
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more of that, maybe.
Sure.
Red Dead 2. But I guess that's not really Sony.
Yeah, and Rockstar famously never shows up at E3.
Oh.
They haven't in years. They said we don't need to. We crush the world without it.
Really?
Yep.
What was there was one I forget.
There was one. Wow, you're bringing some insightful conversation to this discussion here.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. Cool. So what do you think? Like, I feel like for the past 2-3 years, Sony's killed it at E3. Their presentations have been awesome. It's just been games, nothing but games.
Yeah.
And it's walked out of those being like, wow, I'm stoked. I'm happy. I got a PlayStation.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
So again, I don't know that we necessarily get many big surprises. It seemed like of all the stuff that they showed off last year, none of that's come out yet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or their big games. So
Oh, Last of Us too.
right.
That's what I want to see. I want to see more.
Do you like? I'd be totally happy if if I never saw another thing until that was in my hands.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily want like major spoilers or anything, but maybe just another teaser just to keep me hyped.
Yeah. Okay, I can get behind that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can get behind that big time. Yeah, that's the elephant in the room. Like, I feel like that's not even coming out next year. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? If we're lucky, that'll be holiday. But I bet you they'll say it'll be holiday next year, and then it'll get delayed till the following, April, May, or whatever,
Right.
like everything always does. But
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, Sony usually knocks it out of the park. All they gotta do, just keep on bringing the games.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident they're not gonna talk about the Vita at all. They
Yeah.
haven't in 2 years, and they've doubled down on not supporting the Vita at
Yeah.
this point.
See if they talk about VR
Yeah, that was
anymore.
my next question. Is what do you think? What do you think? Do you think they do? Do you think?
I don't know. I mean, they sold. I mean, they sold more than they expected to, from what
Right.
I heard. It was a success. So, I mean, there hasn't been much VR stuff since it came out. So, you would think that there will be, but I don't know.
Do you?
I don't know.
What's your guess? Yes or no?
Uh, I mean, I bet there'll be at least a couple things. I
You
don't
think?
think it'll. I mean,
Are they all just cheesy, bad-looking things? Like, I mean, Job Simulator. I'm sure that's a fun game, but it's like a 3-hour experience with graphics that look like they came from 10 years ago.
yeah.
Is it more stuff like that? Do you think we get any more real games
I
announced
don't know.
for it?
Um,
Yeah, it seemed like we didn't after Resident Evil came out. Everybody was talking about it and seemed to say pretty good. Everybody
yeah.
had pretty good kind of impressions of it. Farpoint came out 2 weeks ago. I haven't heard a single person talk about Farpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People,
Me neither.
right? They were talking. Everybody was excited about it coming out and whatnot, and then the reviews seemed decent, sevens, eights. Said it didn't make you want to throw up the second you put the thing on your head. Um, so, but just weird that I, a company like this wouldn't have some big game plan of at least 3 or 4 big name titles per year.
Yeah. I feel like there's not going to be big ones just because we haven't heard shit about it. Like,
Right.
unless it's going to be a big surprise. But it's so hard to keep things a surprise with the internet nowadays. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like we won't see anything giant, but
yeah.
um,
It blows me away. Like I feel like it's dead. I feel like it's just what we thought it would be.
yeah,
You know
which
what I
is
mean?
weird because it was a success. I mean, they sold a lot, so it's almost like the Vita, or like they just don't really care about it or something.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it must have been millions of dollars and years of R&D and everything, and then you know what I mean. And then you put all
Yeah,
this funding and money behind it, put it out there, and then not support it. It's so weird.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I like why? I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. It is weird.
Unless this was their plan that hey, this is generation one. We're not going to get crazy.
Kind
We're
of
going to
a
see kind of where it falls.
fast
We're going to
launch, or
drip some stuff out, and then as it gets cheaper and we advance stuff, maybe then we start digging in. I mean, if that's their plan, then so be it. But it looks like another Move controller. It looks like another Vita. If they didn't
right?
have that history of abandoning stuff,
Yeah,
I might
yeah,
have a little bit more faith.
for sure. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I hope it's not a lot of VR stuff because I don't have a VR and
right.
I don't really care about the VR that much. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Unless
just
it had really cool stuff, I don't know.
again, I feel like you come out and give me a full Gran Turismo game and a full X-wing fighter game, and I'm
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
You know what I mean? At that point, I feel like I have to go buy one of those,
right.
and so it's just weird that that's not happening.
Yeah,
You know,
we'll see.
we'll see.
What do you think's coming from Sony?
So unless again, we talked about it. They've got Days Gone, Last of Us, uh, God of War. Those are kind of their big names in the pipeline and
Right.
whatnot right now. Spider-Man would be the
Oh
question.
yeah.
I'd love this for them to come out and say Spider-Man's coming this fall or something. You
Fuck
know,
yeah. Yeah, for
um,
sure.
I'd love to see. It seemed like they said everything that we saw was in engine, but I don't think it was gameplay. So
Hmm.
I'd like to see a little bit more gameplay. The problem with Spider-Man is always like whenever he goes inside and starts walking on ceilings and stuff, the cameras always get jacked.
Right.
Those early Spider-Man games where he was just shooting webs up into midair to fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That it was still even then. Those were kind of good games. And then I think it was Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3 where all of a sudden there were the little icons on the corners of the buildings and whatnot, where
Yeah.
his kind of travel was a little bit more refined. Um, but it's always kind of that. Again, if I guess I trust them. After making what was it, Infamous?
Mess. Yeah.
Um,
Ratchet and Clank.
oh, is it Ratchet and Clank? Not Infamous? I can't remember. Insomniac, yeah, right. Ratchet and Clank and what was the other the Microsoft game? Something
Yeah,
over.
some Paradise or
Yeah,
Sunset.
Sunset.
Sunset Overdrive.
There you go. There you go. Right, right. Everybody acted like that was a good fit for that. So yeah, we'll see. But I would be stoked to get some real information on that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
same thing with the VR. I feel like they put a clip or two in their reel. Just do it like you've been doing it. Keep on getting us hyped
Yeah.
for these games.
For
You know.
sure.
So yeah,
Yeah.
is what it is. So I think next, to my mind, would be Nintendo. I'll just kind of go first with Nintendo. Um, they already came out and said that they are only going to talk about games that are coming out in this calendar year. Um, I think that's stupid. And
Yeah.
here's why. Unless you're going to surprise me with Metroid Switch, okay? Unless you're going to
Yeah.
do that, then you need to you need to convince me why I'm buying a Switch. And I don't think any of the games that are coming out this year are going to be that reason. You know what I mean? So show me what the future looks like. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Show me what the next 2-3 years looks like, and that's when I run out and consider the Switch is what I'm going to spend on for Christmas money or whatever this year. You know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if all you show me is Mario, if there's one Mario game and that's it, that's not enough. Even if it's great,
Yeah.
I just can't drop $500 for one game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah,
Sure.
we'll
Yeah.
see.
So they're only going to talk about games that they've already announced, or are they saying they're
No, they
gonna?
didn't say that,
Okay.
but only
So.
games that are coming out in 2017. So
So.
maybe there's a surprise or two or
Yeah.
three. You know,
Yeah.
we kind of said it. As we've been talking about Nintendo through these years and whatnot, is that they need to blow it out with these games at this point. You know what I mean? I weirdly want a Switch, even
Yeah.
though I
So do
own
I.
every game that I'd want on it. You know what I mean? So you're doing something right there. But show me why else I want it. You know,
Yeah.
and it
For
doesn't seem
sure.
like they're gonna do that. And like I say, unless they come out with some crazy surprise. And if the surprise is Smash Brothers Deluxe, that's not enough either. Not for
Yeah.
me, because I already own Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that has to be coming. So I mean,
it does,
you.
and it should be. To be honest, it should already be here.
Yeah.
For people who didn't buy the Wii U but want a Switch, they should play that. It's one of the greatest games in the
Yeah.
past 5-10 years, and it really should be. And then do Smash Bros. Switch 4 years from now or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's not let it be Smash Bros. Wii U Deluxe in a year from now. Again,
Yeah.
that's not enough for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, if they show Smash Bros. And more of the Mario, then like Pokemon Star coming out on Switch. I'll be buying a Switch.
yeah, and totally. So I feel like there's totally the scenario where, to my mind, also the Switch is obviously, we've talked about it over and over again. It's been a success. Its launch has.
Yeah.
It's clearly on a path to do better than the Wii U did. People like the idea of it. People like the hardware. You know what I mean? You hear anybody who has one, and they're like, it's awesome. The more I play
Yeah.
it, the more fired up I am about it. What we got now that that's happened, do the third parties start slowly coming back? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Again, Persona's on the PS3. Persona 5 is. It should be on the Switch. Huge miss by Nintendo. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, get us those third party games. I'm not looking for the new Mass Effect or the new COD. You know what I mean? That's not what the Switch is for. But there's plenty of games that would be awesome on the Switch. You know what I mean? Gwent. Why
Yeah.
isn't Gwent on the Switch?
Yeah. For real.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect Cyberpunk 2049 to be on the Switch, but Gwent could
Right.
be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's just like these third parties need to pick up their game, and it would be awesome to see that. You know what I mean? To even,
Yeah.
but again, a big name game from a third party developer isn't going to come out this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they're not talking about it, again, you're failing on me. But I guess, to be honest,
Well,
I hope they just announce Mario and talk about a few other games that don't hype me totally a lot, and then next Christmas when there's a price drop, that's when the third party games start swooping in as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
So we'll see. I have low expectations that they blow our socks off.
Yeah. Same here.
You know.
I mean, they do have a really good history of press conferences, so that Switch one was really good. The guy on, but
Usually,
hopefully it's like some guy with a terrible translator.
well, they're not going to have a
Um,
press conference like that. They're not going to do that.
yeah.
So no, they're going to do like a Nintendo Direct type thing, even though they're not calling it that. It'll just be something that people watch on the internet, and then they have the games on the show floor, sort of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, it won't be that awkward ass Switch launch presentation. Which, another thing, think of how bad that was, and the Switch is still successful,
Yeah.
and me and you are still interested in it. It's just it's like, man, don't fuck this up, Nintendo. Come on,
Yeah. For
do
real.
it.
Yeah.
Make us want it more. Come on, do it.
Do it.
Okay.
Yeah. It
Man,
won't take much to get me to buy one because I already
me
want
neither.
one.
It totally would not.
Yeah.
Like I say, if you tell me that the big game of next year is Metroid, you throw in like maybe Animal Crossing,
Yeah.
tell you that Pokemon's coming next
Mhm.
Christmas, and then have like 3 or 4 games that we're not even thinking of that come from
Yeah.
third parties. You know what I mean? And that's enough.
Yeah. Did you see that Golf Story game?
No. Story?
Yeah, I think it's called Golf Story. It's coming out on Switch. It's like it looks like a mix between a golf game and Stardew Valley.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of
Yeah.
that.
It looks pretty cool.
Huh.
I mean, it looks like that's what it looks like. It looks like Stardew Valley mixed with a golf game. Like so
If that's
it's
not what it is, we need to put our minds together and pitch that to a big company.
yeah. I'm almost sure that's what it is. I mean
Huh.
but it looks sweet.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
awesome.
I don't know if it's a Switch exclusive, but I know it's on Switch.
Even- Yeah, Mario Golf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Throw that in there. God. Okay. So I think even bigger behind the 8 ball is Microsoft.
Yeah.
Um,
See a lot of Scorpio.
so obviously they're going to come with the Scorpio. So what do you think? Like, as of right now, they've already came out and said that they're not going to talk about Halo. They're not going to talk about Gears. Assuming they're not lying about that, and they come out and show the Scorpio with Halo and Gears right off the
Yeah.
bat. Assuming they don't do that, the only first party games that Microsoft has in the pipeline right now is that pirate ship game. You know what I'm talking about, the multiplayer one,
Yeah.
and then Crackdown 3, which went totally quiet for like a year now. If that's all they come with. And even if they did just throw in Halo and Gears, that's a tired. Oh, and Forza, you're selling me the same story that you sold me
Yeah.
before, and I didn't care about, and I was
Yeah.
happy I left.
Right.
To be honest, so it's got to be more than that. Me and you kind of speculated because it's Microsoft that maybe they somehow have Steam on it. And
Yeah.
that's could be a game breaker. That would get my attention big time.
For sure.
You know,
Yeah.
to be honest though, the specs don't. I'm not getting a new TV this year. I wish I was. I'm not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like your beefy specs don't do that for me at all. It's gotta there's got to be games to back it up.
And even if it did have Steam, I mean, I don't know. I mean, most of the games on Steam aren't meant for a controller. Like, it's the thing.
Right, but if you give me a machine that I can put on my desk here next to a monitor, I could have mouse and keyboard, I could have a controller, I could play Shadow of War, I could play Final Fantasy on, and then I could also play nerd games that nerdy PC players play. And the price is $500 or less, and it's 4K. Also, for whenever I do get a TV, like, you know what I mean? To me, that's all of a sudden you're adding thousands of games. You know what I mean? Whether I'm using it for a controller or with the mouse and keyboard, I would like to play with the mouse and keyboard. I just don't have, the $1,500 to spend on a computer every 5 years or whatever. You said it sucks? Mouse and keyboard?
My experience so far. Too many fucking keys, and it's like when you gotta use WASD to move around, and then if you want like your inventory, you have to move your hand over to I, and then like for all the different spells, you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and like you have to stop moving to do all of that.
Spells, right.
Yeah, and then there's like fucking 20 keys for each game, so like constantly like, wait, where's? I mean, maybe it's. I mean, I'm sure once you play it for years, the keys, you don't even think about it. You just do it. But my initial experience is I hate it. But
That's funny. That's funny. You were supposed to be our PC gaming correspondent.
Yeah.
You're corresponding that you hate it.
From what I've played so far on PC, it's just made me a way stronger PlayStation fan, and it's like I almost just want to like get a PS4 Pro.
Yeah, I mean, I would love like for games like Civilization or City Skylines, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd probably play, the new real-time strategy games and stuff when they came out. I would not play MOBAs, not my thing. But yeah, to me that would do it, but I don't expect it. The speculation is not that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
The speculation is they're going to come out and say that this is the best console in the market for you to spend your money on, and who knows how much it'll cost.
Yeah.
So,
plus you couldn't have a mouse and keyboard. I guess if you only let people use it with Steam games or something, like, I mean, you wouldn't be able to let certain people use a mouse and keyboard for a shooter.
And others
that cross plays with the old Xbox where they can't use a mouse and keyboard because a mouse is way better.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I mean, you just set that up in your games. You know what I mean? All those games play across all of them. So the competitive landscape has to be different. Yeah, you're right about that. But again, I feel like that's nitpicking, and I feel like that's how you get me back, because otherwise, if you come out with Crackdown, whatever the pirate game is called, and then tell me that there's going to be a new Halo in 2 years, you're dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not going to get you back in this race.
Right.
There's got to be something else with it. And if VR is it, nope.
Yeah.
I don't watch VR either.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I just feel like of everybody right now, Sony feels like they're on top of the world. Nintendo it has a success on their hands. Microsoft is the one with their backs against the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're the ones that kind of have the most. They have to make a big splash here. If they don't, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, they're done for. So
Crazy. We used to love our 360s.
I know
Yeah.
it is crazy. It's the same thing Sony did that time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That generation is they fucked up the exact same reasons why. So yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's bean counters who aren't gamers making these
Yeah.
decisions, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll see if Microsoft can pull anything off. The other companies, again, Bethesda's having their own press conference. Ubisoft has their own, and then EA always has the most boring press conference you could ever watch. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So of all those, nothing. Ubisoft's gonna announce their new Assassin's Creed game,
Yeah.
which apparently is the worst kept secret on Earth. It's in Egypt.
Yeah.
I don't think I care about that.
Yeah.
Bethesda. What does Bethesda do? I think they just hype up Morrowind. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
They'll
Since
hype
that
up
just came out.
Morrowind, probably some DLC for Dishonored 2. I guess people are talking about a new Wolfenstein they might announce.
Oh yeah, new Wolfenstein, and then that company is also doing Quake.
Yeah.
Also,
Quake.
yeah, right. So I feel like Fallout. What everybody who thinks Bethesda is thinking about is the next Elder Scrolls game,
Yeah.
and that's not going to be this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not with Fallout just being done last year.
Right. So.
And kind of being a critical miss. You know what I
Fallout,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
nowadays people talk about Fallout 4. It's not. Nobody liked it as much as. Well, definitely not as much as Skyrim or
Right.
Fallout 3 or.
Well, it just the Witcher called their game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When Fallout 3 and Skyrim were out, they were the best open world in games.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And The Witcher just upped the ante by 1,000,000. And so I feel like that team that's making the next Elder Scrolls game really needs to take a pause.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And kind of readjust how they go about things,
Figure out what they're doing with their life.
Right. Right, exactly. All right.
Yeah. Nothing coming from CD Projekt Red, huh?
I don't feel they might talk about Gwent or whatever. You know what I mean? I feel like that's they've already announced, that Cyberpunk's the next thing coming, and I bet you that's not 2-3 years away still.
God. Need it sooner.
Right? I know.
Maybe Witcher 4 teaser?
No, Witcher 4 won't be until after that. Yeah,
I can't wait. I'm playing that Gwent beta, man.
I know. I need to go back and play the expansions.
You do, man. You really do. If that was an option to me, like I played Gwent and I was like, I need to go back and replay it for a third time. Like
third time. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up. You got anything else? Anything big you're looking for? Anything would surprise you? Anything?
Not really, I guess.
All right. So we'll talk E3 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Talk about all the presentations. Talk about what blew us away. About how wrong we were about Nintendo, how they came out and just were like, bam, 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 games.
Yeah,
And we're both running, trying to get a Switch.
Yeah. It's gonna be hype.
That's gonna be awesome. All right, cool. Well, so want to move on. Kind of want to just talk about 2017. So E3 is a great spot to split the year in half, and so just kind of want to talk about the games so far this year. I just feel like this has been the strongest spring in the history of video games, and just kind of whatever. Just get your thoughts on what you've been playing, what you like. I think it'll be the same old, but still, just wanted to kind of opine on how awesome the year's been so far, and then look to the future.
Yeah. So Persona, it's been great. Loving life. Um,
So
yeah.
the last time you talked about Persona, you were actually frustrated. I assume you got past your frustration spot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It took a few tries. But yeah, I did it. It
Okay.
was I was just getting too hasty, I think, and wasn't looking at all my options.
I
And
mean, that's exactly what
it's,
happened to me in the first palace. It's
yeah,
so funny how the loading thing that says "take your time." How
yeah,
that's the makers telling you over and over again.
this,
Look, you got to take your time.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It totally is the truth with that game. You cannot be trying to just power through stuff.
right, exactly, yeah, and that's what I was trying to do. It was like a puzzle. I, I was like, yeah, but think I got this. Like everything's been pretty easy so far, so I just I wasn't factoring in everything, and I was not checking out everything that I was supposed to, and I just kept failing, and and it was frustrating. This is one thing we were talking about recently. Their biggest gripe about the game is the save system.
Yeah.
How you can't save
Anywhere.
anywhere,
Right.
and so it was just I would get a half hour, 45 minutes post save, and then die, and that's frustrating.
It is.
Like, so,
If like I can get behind not having to save anywhere thing because then you focus too much on saving every second and it kind of takes you out of the game a little bit to some degree.
yeah,
But if you're going to have a game where it does not have a save anywhere option, you better space it out perfect. You know
yeah,
what I mean? There better be a save spot every 20 minutes at the max,
well, exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Because
and
I
the
was at
thing
the
is,
same
I
spot a week
could
ago.
have, yeah, and I could have saved, but I would have just had to have run really far back
Right,
and like re-encountered some of the same enemies,
right.
and that would be stupid. Like, why even make it? You know, it could have been a possibility. Like, it just would have taken more time for me to save.
Yeah.
So, but
That grape is like a
yeah,
drop in the
exactly,
bucket, though.
for sure.
What's
Yeah.
what is where you're at right now? I mean, do you still feel like it's one of the best games you ever played? Like, what are your overall?
Yeah, definitely. Still super into it. If anything, I wish there was more time.
Right.
Like I feel like I kind of know how long the game is going to be. I can tell I'm near the end, and I want to be able to build stronger relationships with my homies, and
So, I'm sorry. Go
like,
ahead.
and I can't and they're still dropping new people on me. So I'm like, really just want to go hang out with Ryuji, do a little track training, and, just have some bro time. But oh, look, there's a new chick. So sorry, Ryuji, maybe next week. And
Yeah,
then like, and just knowing like if there wasn't that time constraint and I knew that I wasn't near the end, then it wouldn't be like that. I wouldn't be trying to force this like hanging
it's
out with
like the
new
end of your
people.
school year though when you're a high schooler.
It's
You just
true.
met this new
Yeah.
girl and you only got a month left to try and
Yeah.
impress her.
Life is tough.
Yeah.
But
the
but
so I got through the first dungeon, and then I'm putting it on the pause until after vacation because I don't want to get halfway into the next storyline. You know what I mean? I want to start from scratch there. The one thing that I would say to you, and anybody playing this game, if you haven't played the old ones, and I know you dropped out before this came a spot, man, use every save space you have. Save them, like make a save space for every 2 days and go down so at any point you can go up to a month back because sometime you're going to get credits and a bad ending for
uh
sure. And then you're going to have to hop on Google to figure out how to not get that bad ending. And if you don't have those saves lined up, you're going to be pissed.
so try and space them out like a couple days apart, like
Yeah, so
over
say there's
over.
16 save spots. So every time the calendar moves 2 dates, start a new save spot.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that way you can go back a full month
Yeah.
if you need to, anywhere in that full month, because it will be like one discussion that you had where you picked the wrong thing out of 3.
Really?
Yeah, that'll happen. I can almost assure you. I don't know that for a fact, so that's not a spoiler. But if Persona 4 has anything, and it seems to be almost exactly like Persona 4,
Yeah.
this game, then that'll happen. So yeah,
Okay.
heads up.
Thanks.
Yep. So
So,
I'll just opine on Zelda a little bit. Again, I feel like these 2 games, for me, I feel like when all's said and done, they're gonna slot into my top 5 favorite games of all time. And
yeah.
yeah, and it's so awesome. Like I almost wondered. So Zelda, I'm kind of in the same spot right now, where I finished a significant thing, and I want to pause until I get back from vacation as well. So I'm just trying to check out some of the stuff that I've been meaning to for this week and whatnot. Um, you know that being said, I almost feel like when I come back, maybe I'll just play some different games instead. Like I don't know that I can beat both of these games by the end of the year with my timetable. They're so big. It's intimidating. It's like I would have to pick one or the other, and I can't do that right now. I like them both so much.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Yeah.
like they're so large, I need to take a break from both of them and throw like Uncharted 3 in the middle or something, and then come back and play these 2, finish them up, or maybe the Witcher expansion. I don't know. I don't
Hearts
know
of
what to do.
Stone and Blood of Wine. Blood and Wine.
Yeah, I'll have to. I gotta
Except
put some
those
thought
are
into it.
long. I mean, you're talking 30 hours there. But,
Yeah, but these you're talking 100 hours.
yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's the thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing. So yeah, we'll see. When I bought, I remember when I was going back and forth and talking about buying Persona, to you, that was the thing. Is I'm like, I might buy this game and never have time to play it. And now it's
Yeah.
so good that I really want to put the time into it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how the rest of the year goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what else? I gotta say for me, my other big surprise of the year, big thing that really kind of jumped at me this first half of 2017 is the Shovel Knight expansions. Man, have you touched on any of that yet?
No.
You got to
No.
do it. You got to do it, man. They're
Yeah.
so awesome, and you can play a level for like 10 minutes. Just I pop it in, play a level a day. You know what I mean? And then move on to the next thing. They're so great. So
All
great.
right.
And I'm just blown away that they threw in 2 extra games for free.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's CD Project Red level customer appreciation coming from Yacht Club Games there.
Yeah.
To throw 2 extra games for free that they could have, nobody, it wasn't like, hey, when Shovel Knight came out, oh, we're going to give you these games in the future. They never said that. You just bought
Yeah.
Shovel Knight on the basis of Shovel Knight, and then they gave you 2 more games. It blows me away. Nobody does that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? No, there's no business where the head of the business says, hey, I know, let's make something just as awesome as we just made and just give it to everybody because they bought our
Yeah.
first game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's craziness.
It is crazy for
Yeah,
sure.
so that was my other big kind of thing from the start of this year. Other than
Yeah.
that, I'd say Vermintide was a surprise,
Yeah.
right? We're digging
Yeah.
Vermintide.
For
And
sure.
and I do got to say, we didn't talk too much last week about Ghost Recon. As I was thinking about it, I have been pretty happy with these kids.
What's that music?
It's way too loud, is what it is, because Mom just left. So, anyways, I like the fact that on Ghost Recon, when we just try and jump in trucks and run straight to the mission objective, that we
Yeah.
fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I liked how last night the mission that we were doing, we tried a million times to just run in there, guns blazing, didn't work. So then we're like, okay, we're gonna sneak around. So we sneak around. We got all the way to the end, but we still failed. So then the
Yeah.
next time we're like, okay, we did really good. Let's sneak around again. And we sneak around and don't make it anywhere close to the end. And then the guy comes flying past us trying to escape, and we chase him down and get him. It
Yeah.
was just really cool kind of spur of the moment gameplay.
It is. It's a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of people hate on it, but they obviously don't have a dedicated group of 4. But
Right.
if you have that, it's a great game. Great times. What is that?
It's the Nyan Cat song. Really loud on like a Casio keyboard.
You hear the fireworks here?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, that's all sorted out now. So what do you think? I'm sorry, I asked you what you thought, and then I just spit out all my stuff that we've been playing. What? You got anything else?
I had a lot of fun with it. I really liked Horizon. I'll get back to it after I beat Persona. At this point, I'm just fully dedicated to Persona, but I am I'm looking forward to finishing it out because I really like it. It's a great game.
Yeah, I can't believe it's testament to the spring that I didn't even think about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is a great game. Yeah. Any other year, that'd be one of the top 2 things you'd talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And other than that, I still really want to play Nier. I'd love to. That's like a must-have at some point.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
and that other movie or new game that everybody's acting like is really awesome. What Joe said it's his favorite game now.
Oh, Prey. Tomodachi Life. Whacked out sense of humor. I really get into, and so to have a whole RPG with that craziness, I'd be fired up about.
Yeah. Talking phone games, have you played Magikarp Jump?
No, I haven't had a chance yet. No.
Yeah. Me neither.
No.
I opened it up and started the intro, and it was on a smoke break at work, and then that was it.
Yeah. We need to at least talk about it for a second.
Yeah.
So then August brings Middle-earth, Shadow of War, Uncharted Lost Legacy, and Everybody's Golf. Funny to say that Everybody's Golf is the must-buy for us.
Yeah, that's the number one. Yep.
Definitely.
For sure.
So yeah, looking forward to that. Uncharted, I'll play that once I finish up the rest of Uncharted. Middle-earth, Shadow of War, I'm sure is going to be awesome. I just don't think I'm going to have time. And to me, I'm going to want to try different stuff rather than sequels every time.
Yeah.
And so moving on.
Yeah, it looks great. I haven't beat Shadow of Mordor, so.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be awesome. September comes up then. We've got Destiny 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Danganronpa 3.
What's the third one?
Danganronpa 3.
Okay.
So, I won't get Danganronpa.
No.
But I 100% will get Destiny 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
100%?
Yes.
I mean, I knew that for Destiny, but...
No, I'm hyped for Marvel vs. Capcom. I want a new fighting game right now. It's been too long since I've gotten one. I'm not a hardcore fighter, but I do like fighting games.
Yeah.
And and especially after the recent ones that I've been playing are all 3D games. I want to get back to old school. Like Marvel, obviously, like Capcom. So yeah, that's 100%er for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not as big as I like playing fighting games against other people for fun, but I mean, I'm not a big fan of solo fighting games.
Yeah, I am.
I know.
I like going through, unlocking stuff. You know what I mean? You sit down and play half an hour to play through a story with a character, kind of learn some of their moves, see if you like them or not. You know, I dig that. And then every fighting game, that's about how I play fighting games nowadays, is that I'll just go through the whole lineup. You know what I mean? And then when I'm playing against people, I've got my 3 or 4 favorites.
Didn't help you in the
whatever.
The family tournament.
Next time.
Injustice. Stomped.
So moving on. In October, the only announced game right now for October that I doubt will end up being there is South Park, Fractured Butthole. Uh,
Fractured butthole.
uh, yeah, so again, I assume that's going to get pushed, and I wouldn't get it anyways.
Yeah.
Everybody seemed
I
to like the last one. I didn't.
yeah, I didn't play it, but yeah, I heard people liked it.
Yeah. Um. Then November brings COD World War II, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, and Star Wars Battlefront 2. Um.
Battlefront.
Yeah. So I am the most skeptical Battlefront fan of all time. I
Yeah.
really don't think it's going to be that good. As much as everybody's got pumped up by that story trailer, I'm just expecting a 4 hour story mixed with more online Battlefront.
Yeah.
Um, so, I that being said,
Plus, a
I've
lot of people loved Battlefront too. They act like that's the best Battlefront. So I think that's part of the reason people are so hyped for Battlefront 2.
because it's Battlefront 2 again,
Yeah.
right? Right? It is weird that they don't name it something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Forever when people search for that on the internet.
It's gonna be 2 games.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, so as much as I am a skeptic of that, I've already been informed that that will be in my house this holiday season.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, that's definitely both of the boys were like, "Oh, we're getting it right. We're getting it right." Like there was this level of like mind blownness from them. So yeah.
If they're hyped about something Star Wars, you gotta do it.
Yeah, and I like the old one enough. You know, we often talk about it was stupid for us to buy the season pass for it, but you know, the 20 30 hours that I played the first Battlefront game was okay. I'll do that
Yeah.
again, you know.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. And I'll play through whatever campaign there is.
yeah, I just, you know, I wish they'd give it the Destiny treatment.
Yeah.
How awesome would that be?
Yeah. That
You
would
know?
be so awesome.
Instead of Guardians, just have it be Stormtroopers, where
Yeah.
everybody's a Stormtrooper. And as you level up, you can get the different like flamethrower trooper gear or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
how it could be different. God,
Yeah.
do that shit. Do it. So then a couple question marks that didn't have exact dates, but I would assume are coming this year unless E3 tells us otherwise. Mario Odyssey, Crackdown 3, Detroit Become Human, and Gran Turismo Sport. So, of that whole list, how's the rest of your year look? What of those games? What are you getting?
Um. Well, everybody's golf for sure.
Right.
Um. I mean, if you're gonna get Battlefront, I guess I'll get it too.
Okay.
Um. Destiny 2, obviously.
Right.
Um.
Is that it? Marvel? You get Marvel versus Capcom if I get it?
Yeah.
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 Okay. All right.
And I don't know that. It's
Assuming
probably
so you're not into Gran Turismo, right?
yeah, not really.
You're not. What about Detroit? If that comes
That
out,
that's the only. I mean, if that comes out and everybody says it's super fucking awesome, then probably. I mean,
COD do
it's the
anything for you?
hometown, D-town. I'm from Detroit, basically.
Tell it.
Manchester is
Preach.
really similar.
Manchester just like Detroit. Yeah. So
um, God, not really.
no.
I doubt I'll
No.
get it.
So we're looking at for the two of us, everybody's golf, Destiny 2, Marvel vs. Capcom, and Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right, I can live with that.
yeah. We usually pretty much get the same games, anyways.
Yeah, except I'll get Gran Turismo also. That's the point. That's the one difference between the two of us. I'll get the show and Gran Turismo, and you would not
Yeah.
care at all about those two games.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, okay, all right, cool.
But, yep.
That concludes our mid-year breakdown. So okay, game of the year, halfway through the year, Persona for you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the hardest choice of all time for me, assuming I even get the two done.
Yeah.
I might have to award a tie.
We'll see. I mean, hopefully I'll play Zelda by the end of the year.
Yeah, you should. You really, really should.
Yeah.
All right. So then the last thing that I want to do for this video game only comically gaming was talk about role playing games. Both recently, both IGN and Game Informer did their top 100 role playing games of all time, and I just thought we kind of go through their top tens and then talk about our own kind of thoughts about role playing games. I think I don't know about you, like myself, if I had unlimited time, RPGs would be my favorite genre. I feel
Yeah.
like I really like action games also. I like a good third person action, and I enjoy first person shooters. But my true nerd at heart, my buttons get pushed by RPGs, and
Same.
just yeah, looking at a stat screen with a bunch of different items to put on my character, and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So anyways, just wanted to go through, whipped up a quick top 10 list of my own. I think you did as well, and we can kind of hit those up as well at the end. But IGN had, so for their top 10, I'll work backwards with these. For their top 10, they had number 10 was Witcher 3, number 9 was Vagrant Story, number 8 was Diablo 2, number 7 was Secret of Mana, number 6, uh, the only game on their list that I had not heard of, and it was number 6. And I'm sure somebody's going to make fun of me for not knowing about this, but Planescape Torment. You know anything about Planescape?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, me neither. Somebody tell us in the comments why we should care about Planescape. And it's got to be a PC game, like an old school one or something. Be my guess. Number 5, they had WoW. Number 4 is Pokemon Yellow. Number 3 was Baldur's Gate 2. Number 2 was Final Fantasy 6, and number 1 was Chrono Trigger. Then Game Informer had their number 10 was Final Fantasy Tactics. Their number 9 is Baldur's Gate 2. Number 8
Is
was
that the one we played?
No.
Okay.
No. It's old school PC game.
We played a Baldur's Gate game.
Yeah, we played Baldur's Gate on at 360, I think. No, it was on PlayStation 2.
PS2?
It was on PS2. Did we play that online, or did we just both have it?
I feel like we played it online
Because I know
through our network adapters.
I don't. Maybe we did. Yeah, that game was great too, but different. That was way more action-y.
Yeah.
The Baldur's Gate 2 was more like Divinity.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those type of games. So number 8, they've got Diablo 2. Number 7, they've got KOTOR. Number 6 is WoW. Number 5 is The Witcher 3. Number 4, Mass Effect 2. Number 3 is Chrono Trigger. Number 2 is Final Fantasy 6. Both lists had that as number 2, was Final Fantasy 6. Number 1, they had Skyrim. And then
Really?
yeah, and then Game Informer did this thing that I thought was pretty cool. See if I can find it quick here. So number 2 is Final Fantasy 6, and then you flip the page over. Skyrim's number 1, but then they had number 0.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so basically they paid homage at the top of the list that Dungeons and Dragons. Without Dungeons and Dragons, none of these exist,
Yeah.
and they all owe everything to it. So
Oh, yeah.
so yeah, I thought that was cool. Nice touch to the Game
For sure.
Informer crew. Yep. So let's do it. Let's go. You do 10, I do 10. You do 9, I do 9.
All right.
Sort of thing, and then we'll tally up the scores and make the Comically Gaming ultimate list.
Okay.
So what do you got for 10?
I gotta pee.
All right. Do it.
All right.
So what do you got for 10?
For number 10, I got oh, I got well, Fallout 4.
Fallout 4. Okay.
Kind of /3.
Pick one.
All right, I would say 4.
Okay.
Only because I beat 4 and not 3.
That's fine. This is me and you's list. Nobody's but me and you. So yeah, if that is what it is. It is what it is.
Like, I feel like the reason I give it Fallout, mainly Fallout in general, because it's, that probably the best RPG of like post-apocalypse. The
Absolutely.
It's kind of the open world, the only really open world post-apocalypse RPG type game like that. Like, I want to say Fallout 3 because it's, the first game like that with with the VAT system and the, the whole open world, the mutants and stuff. The whole thing is really cool. But I never beat 3,
Right.
so that's why I give it to 4, even though I would say 3 is probably a better game.
Right. Yeah. So
But
I'm with you. I didn't put games I didn't beat on my list. So again, Zelda and Persona 5, not on my list, and I'm sure they will be once I beat them.
I put Persona on mine.
Okay. Well, you're close enough. You're allowed to.
Yeah,
You're close
I'm
enough.
like real close.
Yeah. I agree with you. Well, okay, so I played barely any of 4, and I beat 3.
Yeah.
I feel like I would give 3 a little bit of a nod. Not only it's everything that you said, plus it's the first one of those Bethesda's games that are in first person open world. You know what I mean? Well, everything that they've done since then has followed that
What
formula.
about Oblivion?
Oblivion was after Fallout 3.
Was it?
I feel like it was. Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't. Oblivion was like a launch game for 360.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Are you for real? I thought
for
Fallout came
sure.
first.
No, it went Oblivion, Fallout 3, Skyrim, Fallout 4.
I'm gonna take your word for it, and just whatever. We're not our show, as we've shown over the years, and I think we're actually worse with comics than we are with video games. Is we are not a news site. We're a reactionary show,
That's right.
right? We react to the cool shit that we
Yeah.
like, and so yeah, don't get upset with us when our facts aren't always straight. We're sorry.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. Fallout 4 is your number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So my number 10 was King's Quest 1.
King's Quest 1.
Yeah. I played it on I think the Apple IIc, and I gotta say, I don't know how it would hold up if I went back and played it today, but to me as I want to say 6-year-old or maybe a 7 or 8, somewhere right around there is when I played King's Quest 1. Beat the whole game and was absolutely the first RPG I ever played in my life, and it was awesome. An epic tale of medieval king who's going to slay a dragon. And you know what I mean? That as a little kid really blew me away. I experienced that before I experienced Tolkien, and it had that effect on me. Really blew me away. Loved it. So that's my number 10, King's Quest.
Nice.
Yep.
I
So
played some King's Quest on like Windows 95, but I don't know which one it was.
really,
So,
what you got? What's number 9?
Mass Effect.
1?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Best space RPG, I would say. Well, no, actually, that's not true.
Okay. I think me and you are both. Both probably have the other one on our list someplace.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Um,
But Mass Effect, best other one.
best other one. Yeah.
Right.
And um, but great game. Um, you know, kind of took the kind of took KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic. Was obviously BioWare's first awesome game, but then Mass Effect was their first,
Yeah,
I don't know, advancement of that.
sure. Yep,
After that,
totally.
and yeah, great game. You
Yeah,
know,
I agree. Lots of people talk shit about the first one, saying that it was like boring or something.
what?
Yeah, especially compared to the other two. Now, I never beat the other two. I just beat the first one, but
Same
I
here.
I, I loved the first one
Yeah,
all the way through. So I totally dig it.
definitely. Yeah, and I started playing the second one, didn't even finish it, so I don't see why people. Yeah, first one, Mass Effect.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. My number 8 is. Oh, I'm sorry. Number 9. Final Fantasy 11. So the only MMO that I've ever put a decent amount of time into, and I did put a whole year. I was hardcore Final Fantasy 11 guy. Haven't because of that year. I know what MMOs can do to your life, and have not sunk a significant amount of time into any other MMO. So, what do you think? How much time do you think we sunk into ESO? Like maybe 40, 50 hours?
Yeah,
Which
maybe.
is nothing for an MMO, right?
Yeah,
so the yeah, I can't really compare it to the other ones out there or say that it's better or worse than WoW or Eve Online or anything like that. But that it was mine, and it was special. I loved the my crew of strangers that I got to be best friends with through playing that game was awesome. Our Link Shell crew was great, and the just I loved how they had the Final Fantasy. If you knew what haste is in Final Fantasy, then you knew what it was in that game. What I mean? All that stuff really kind of went through perfect for me. Also liked the environments. To me, seemed so much cooler than what I played of WoW and stuff like that. It just kind of hit the right notes for me.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. I played a little, but never got too into it.
Yep. Final Fantasy 11. What's your number 8?
um, Dragon Age.
The first one, Dragon Age 1.
Well, either that or Inquisition.
Pick one.
The problem is, um, the first one.
Okay. All right. I would give it to that one as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just for the same reason. I mean, all those BioWare games were so great. And this one was with dragons in a fantasy setting, and
Right.
I mean, it was just as good as the other ones. I mean, the choices, the way your choices affect the game, and the different characters, and I loved everything about it. Great game.
Hot
we all
Wizards.
Hot Wizards, yeah. The romance in it was sweet. I mean, that's what part of what makes BioWare games awesome.
Yep.
So you get to pick your chicks, and bang a blue alien or a sorcerer chick or whoever you want.
Whoever you want.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wish I remembered the story more and stuff. That's why Inquisition is fresh, but I gotta give it to the original because it was just as good. I just don't. It's not as clear in my memory.
Yeah.
As.
I don't think, if I'm honest with you, I don't think I beat either of those. I know I put way more time into the first one,
I beat
and
both of them.
did enjoy it, but yeah, I don't think I beat it. I'd have to look at my list and see. Okay, cool. I got my number 8 is KOTOR, so we're on on the BioWare wagon right now.
Yeah.
KOTOR, for all those reasons that we talked about and more, the more being Star Wars, still to this day, the greatest Star Wars video game ever made. Not even
Yeah.
close. Not even close with any of the other ones. And it was kind of the original of all these games.
Yeah.
BioWare took that formula and rolled with it. And to be honest, I feel like Bethesda kind of copped it. It's a little bit different how you kind of can pause and choose what you want to do in the BioWare games versus the straight action of the Bethesda games.
Hmm.
But same, when you talk about Western role playing games, those are the two big types that you talk about, and BioWare came first.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I just loved the pre Star Wars story that still felt like Star Wars, and if I don't know, check out for 10 seconds for spoilers for KOTOR. Starting now, the Jedi love story was awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They did that better than Lucas did years
Yeah.
later.
Right.
So yeah, so KOTOR, that's my number 8. What you got for
All
number
right.
7?
Number 7.
Yep.
Final Fantasy 8. It's
Bring it.
my that was my favorite Final Fantasy game. It's the only one on the list. Also might be the only one I've actually beaten.
Really?
I think so.
You didn't beat 13?
Nope.
No?
No. Nope. Obviously, everyone will put 7 before 8. I might have if I had played it and beat it, but I kind of watched a friend play it and beat it. Never beat it myself. Got 8, and I'm super into 8. I mean, 4 discs long. Love Squall. He's badass with his gun blade. And yeah, I don't know, something about it. It was the only Final Fantasy that I've beat, but I really liked it. And that's my Square game, my
Yeah.
Square RPG.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what they're like. Everybody knows what Final Fantasy is, but eight was my favorite.
Yeah, I feel like 7, 8, 9, you group those 3 together is kind of different from the rest. So like 1 through 6 were all, 2D games,
Yeah,
flash to the battles, line up your team on the one side. Um, and then the ones after 9 have all been kind of crazy.
yeah,
10 started taking it to kind of full 3D, and then 11 obviously was the MMO. 12 was like had a fighting system like an MMO, and everybody talks about how cool the fight, how you set up your party to fight with you. In 12, 13, everybody hated on because you were walking down tunnels for the first 70 hours of it. I still liked it. And then 14 MMO, 15 verdicts kind of up in the air still around 15. But I feel like that 789 was kind of that hybrid where, you know, open world map, bring you down into areas that aren't straight 2D, but still kind of might as well be for how you walked through them and whatnot. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then same with the battles, not straight 2D, but you were set up like the old school style. So it's kind of that in between thing where in all those stories were kind of epic and weird and in the way that JRPGs are weird,
yeah,
meaning nonsensical, if I'm honest. But,
yeah,
again, kind of just in those days, those graphics were blowing everybody away, and it really was the best game in town. You know.
yeah, for
Yep.
sure.
Yep. All right. Final Fantasy VIII. So my number 7 was one of the few games that's on both of the IGN and Game Informer list. Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger was a jam.
I didn't play Chrono Trigger.
What's that?
I never played it.
Never played it? No. So we played it on the DS, and everybody kind of says that that's the best version nowadays to go and play. And just great stuff. So what Chrono Trigger did, I believe, is they didn't have that nonsensical JRPG story. You could actually make sense of it without forming a discussion group to talk through the plot. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was cool. Time travel. I'm always fired up about time travel. There's a whole story about freaking time travel, and some of the characters were super awesome as well. So that's my number 7, and it holds up today. Go get the DS version, throw it in your 3DS, and you'll be happy with it. There won't be any reservations in your mind as you're playing through it for sure.
Nice.
For sure. All right, 6.
Number 6. What was the last Fable game? Fable 3?
Yeah.
Fable 2.
Fable 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fable 2 was awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally awesome. Yep. I really liked it. I mean, just the world was awesome, the colorfulness, everything was cool. The magic and everything, the fighting was fun, and the light and the whole evil and not evil thing. I mean, a lot of games do that now, but Fable is just kind of different.
Yeah.
You got like veiny and
Horns.
like horns, and people would run in terror from you if you were bad, and like people would like try and hang out with you and be cool with you if you're good, and just all around fun all the way through. Great RPG.
Yeah, I agree. I never really played 3. I don't think. Maybe for a little bit. Played 1 and 2. I think I beat both of those games, and yeah, enjoyed. No, I didn't beat 1, but I beat 2. And yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. The world is awesome in that game. Walking through things, and that's kind of pre-open world RPGs.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. It was fun. I wish we had more games like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. Just again, kind of exploring that world and whatnot. In those days, it was cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Wish they'd come out with another one.
My number 6, Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story.
Yeah.
Super awesome stuff.
Figured that would be on yours. I never played those. So.
Yep. Great game. I really can't talk about any of the reasons why because they're all spoilers, but it's just incredible. The best what they did with Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Toad, and Bowser was awesome. Seriously, like those characters are iconic, but it's always just been Bowser steals the princess, Mario and Luigi go and save her, and everything. Yeah. And in recent years, there's been a lot of different kind of takes on Mario RPGs. This one was the very best, and it was super funny as it went along, and just super good. And again, I can't explain some of the great points of why because they're straight up spoilers, but literally, definitely my favorite DS game of all time, and definitely in number 6 on my greatest RPGs of all time.
Yeah, I need to play it. I should buy it for my 2DS.
You should, or just borrow it. I think I got it. Borrow it.
Yeah, I mentioned borrowing last time we hung out, and you were like, "Yeah, after the orange box, never happened again."
Yeah, that's okay. Go buy it. You're right. You're right. All right, number 5.
Number 5, Persona 5.
Persona 5. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we've talked Persona 5 to death, huh?
Yeah.
Great game.
Great game. Maybe. Yeah. Number 5.
Okay. My number 5 would be Wind Waker. At this point, great great stuff. Again, I think I've talked Wind Waker to death on all the Comically Gaming shows, but love the action in that game. The swordplay is perfect. So cool when you're fighting enemies and boom, the way the music goes boom, 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 as you're nailing all your stuff is just makes it feel takes that little touch of that music takes that combat to the whole next level. It does, and then it's
I
also
haven't played any Zelda game like that, so
yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to.
Yep, you should. It's great, and just the great big huge adventure. At first
Does Breath of the Wild do that with the music?
it doesn't do it with the music. No, the fighting system's the same, but it doesn't do that with the music. Um, yeah, and
Is that a con?
it is a con after Wind Waker. It is, I believe it is. The world, while first I would be extremely skeptical about an open world where you're going around in a boat and just randomly looking for islands, but they nailed it perfect, and the story. To be honest, in a game in an RPG that has very little dialogue, um, great story, super way that it tied in to other Zelda games that I guess I can't talk about without spoiling anything. But yeah, really cool stuff for sure. And Breath of the Wild will probably end up higher than it when all is said and done. But pre Breath of the Wild, it's number 5 on my greatest RPGs of all time.
All right.
All
Number
right,
4.
4.
KOTOR.
Nice, 4 spots higher than me.
Yeah, for all the same reasons you said. I love the BioWare RPGs. KOTOR was the first, and it was Star Wars.
Right.
So
Enough said.
Yeah, enough said.
So my number 4, unless you want to keep going, I wasn't trying to cut you off. I was just saying that sums it up.
Oh, yeah.
So my number 4 is Persona 4. Persona 4, friggin' great game. Took up my whole year 2 years ago, and loved every minute of it for the same reason I'm loving Persona 5 right now.
Yeah.
Just we've said it too many times, but those games' strength is their character development. Nobody else. You don't care about any other characters as much as you care about the Persona kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and that's why I was torn between Persona and KOTOR with the 4 and 5 spot. Yeah, because I got to give it to KOTOR because it was the first of the BioWare games, and like 4 of them have made my top 10 list.
Right.
But
right.
like, if it comes down to which game do I like more, probably Persona. But I got to give it to KOTOR just because it was the starting point of BioWare and everything they've done. And nowadays they're bought out, and it sounds like
Yeah, totally different team. Yeah,
Russian
not
shit
good.
out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yep.
But during their heyday,
they
were great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got for 3? Top 3, everybody.
Top 3. Skyrim. Yep. Skyrim. Love Skyrim.
I can't guess what your number 2 is. If that's number 3,
yeah,
it's got to be a Pokemon game or something. We'll see. Okay, Skyrim.
Spoiler alert.
I'm just guessing.
There hasn't been one on the list yet. So, but yeah, Skyrim. It's the best up until The Witcher. It was the best open world RPG.
Yep.
So I guess you know my top 3 now.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously Oblivion paved the way, and Skyrim was the perfected version of Oblivion.
Right.
And yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was. You're right. Oblivion paved the way. I almost thought about swapping Oblivion or putting it in this list somewhere because it's so great at its time also, but Skyrim was better in every way.
Yeah, it took everything that was great about Oblivion and made it better, and it was my favorite game of all time for up until The Witcher
Years.
3
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah, I just remember, like, you escape from that first spot, and then you go to the first kind of small town or whatever on the map. And I just remember, like, and in the map, when you look at the map, it's all just clouded over except for where you are. So
Like
I
little
just remember,
trailers.
what's that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
So I just remember walking away from the city, and as I walked away from the first little town that I was in, watching the map expand and realizing, see how it was like this teeny little section in the corner of
Yeah,
the map where I was walking, and just like, oh my god, and looking off to the
yeah,
side, and then the first kind of place where you get the first dragon shout up, when you go climb a mountain and go in and
yeah.
do a quest and you figure that out and whatnot, just really, really blew me away, and
Oh yeah,
it had some of the greatest, like, weird side quests that you don't need to do but had awesome stories and stuff in it. Like,
yeah,
there was, up until Skyrim, I did not do side quests in
yeah,
RPGs. You know what I mean? Because they were all fetch quests that had no real impact on the
yeah,
story other than like grinding. And
yeah,
these ones had actual cool stories that you wanted to
yeah,
do for the stories themselves,
yeah, and I mean, yeah, and you had the whole continent. And, every town was different, and
Yep.
just going through the countryside. Just wanting to explore, just to see what was there and stuff. It was great.
Yep. Sure was. Sure was. All right. So my number three, yeah, we're gonna get predictable at the end. My number three is Final Fantasy VII. Like you said, you look at 7, 8, and 9. Those were kind of special days for Final Fantasy. For me, I did just what you said with 7 and 8 with 6 and 7. So I watched Wojo play 6, which was Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo, at our house in Ann Arbor one summer, where he played through the whole game, and I watched it all and loved it. Great game, great story, maybe better story than Final Fantasy 7, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um, but Final Fantasy VII was my first. I was out of video games for a few years, got back into them, bought that game with my PS1, and it was mind blowing at the time. Those cutscenes were just
yeah,
you'd never seen anything like those
yeah,
cutscenes back at
for
the
real.
time. And then
Yeah,
the summits and stuff, the summons just were just
yeah,
totally back then
yeah. That
crazy.
that was cutscenes. That was the prime time of cutscenes. Nowadays,
Right.
they use the same engine for the cutscenes now and stuff, but back then when the cutscene would come in with the insanely awesome graphics and
Yeah,
you're
you
like,
could put CGI
whoa!
on a CD for the first time
Yeah,
ever. That was way better
yeah,
than in-game stuff. Yeah, right,
yeah,
exactly. Yep,
yeah,
yep. So they're special days, and
yeah,
yeah, may not be the best Final Fantasy, but it's my personal favorite just because of the time and
yeah.
whatnot. All right. So which Pokemon is number two?
Blue,
Blue, huh?
the first. Got to give it to the first, and, just because it was the first, and
So let me ask you. I mean, in all honesty, like I just said, Final Fantasy VII may not be the best Final Fantasy, but it's my favorite. Is that the same thing with Blue, or like should I go back and play Blue once I beat Moon?
no, I mean, no, I mean every Pokemon that game that's came out since Blue has been the next step of Blue.
Okay,
I mean,
sure.
but it was the first one. It was, it got me into Pokemon. Um, Played all of them since, and they all, constantly, slowly improve in little different ways. But it was the originator, and played the shit out of it. Had my link cable, with my friends. We'd link up our original Game Boys and trade and battle and try and catch them all.
Totally.
Uh, um, I love Pokemon. It's probably the longest standing RPG that I've played,
Right.
especially since I've beat everyone. And yeah, it has to go to that.
Nice. Nice.
so,
So
so like my list is you know, Skyrim's a better game than Pokemon Blue, but you know, it was the first Pokemon, and I've played all of them, so
Sure.
it has to go.
Yeah, no,
Has to go to it.
totally. All right, so my number 2 Skyrim,
Yeah,
and your number 1 and my number 1.
The Witcher.
No surprise to Comically Gaming
3.
fans is The Witcher. I don't even think we need to explain why we like The Witcher anymore, right? Do you want to opine on The Witcher at all, or
Why
why
no,
don't
I
you
just
talk about
miss.
The Witcher while I add up our totals here?
All right. Well, you know, like we said, after playing Gwent, I really miss the Witcher crew. You know, I want to know what Geralt and Ciri are up to. You know, R.I.P. to the fallen heroes. It, you know, I'm with Yen now, but I still wonder what things could have been with Triss. The just everything about The Witcher. I mean, it took what it was. You know, it took over Skyrim for all the right reasons. I mean, you know, every side quest was awesome and completely unique, and you know, you know, everyone ended with something totally unique and like crazy, and you know, you wanted to do every side quest possible because they were all awesome. You know, none of them were fetch something and come back.
Right.
You know, and not a single one. They were all had their own storyline to them. All the characters were awesome. I mean, and you know, and you truly, you know, got to feel like Geralt. You know, like we've talked about before. You're not trying to put
yourself
not,
in those shoes.
Yeah, you're putting yourself in Geralt's shoes, and you're becoming Geralt. You're not yourself in the universe, but it's awesome to be Geralt because he's the man.
Yeah, he's a
and
badass, too. I also gotta say, I like, as far as I know, it's the fact Witchers only exist in that story.
yeah,
Like, cool to add something unique like that to your basic Tolkien high fantasy story, you know?
yeah, for sure.
All right. So what I did was I did a point system where our number 1 games equal 10 points, number 2 equals 9 points, number 3 equals 8 points to come up with the Comically Gaming list of best role playing games of all time. Number 1, obviously, The Witcher 3. Number 2 would be Skyrim. So number 3 would be KOTOR. So Witcher 3, Skyrim, KOTOR, and then
It's a good top 3.
Yep. Next would be Pokemon Blue.
All right.
Yep. Followed by Final Fantasy VII. Followed by Persona 4. Persona 5. Wind Waker, Bowser's Inside Story, and Fable 2.
All right.
Yep. That's the official list. We'll have to post it on the website.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
That's a glorious walk down memory lane.
Was.
Totally. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's it. That's what we got for Comically Gaming episode 55. Thank you for joining us.
Yep. Thanks.
Again, a little bit of a weird show just because of the vacation and whatnot. But again, we want to keep on getting stuff out every week, every Tuesday or Wednesday. Have you guys get hit with something in your mouth.
Exactly.
A Comically Gaming punch. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week.
All right.
Later.
Later.